How literally do you mean the song Tramp the Dirt Down? Perhaps you'd better explain to whom it's directed and what the thought was behind the song.
Well, I'm not inclined to describe the song line by line. I think it'd diminish it. I'd rather just sing it. But some of the things came from observations during the last election. And one particular line which I would recite is the bridge of the song, which says, "When England was the whore of the world, Margaret was her madam, and the future looked as bright and as clear as the black tarmac Adam." And that's the way I think it is, and it contemplates her demise in a quite brutal way. Well, when I first wrote it, I wrote it straight out of my head, type of, very much just appeared in 10 minutes. And then later I added a little bit to the lyrics. But it was very aggressive in just with acoustic guitar. The way I'd play it solo, it wouldn't be too pretty, it wouldn't have the same delicacy. And the intensity of the feeling about it makes you instinctively lean towards the more out performance. But the melody doesn't really insist upon that. It will stand up to it, but it also will stand up to a sadder, more contemplative treatment. And particularly in case of the instrumentation, the way I play it on the guitar is kind of like very harsh. This is a pretty harsh sounding acoustic guitar. It's an old instrument, it has a clanky sort of sound. The way we had it arranged was with a very, very delicately played acoustic guitar, which Donald only played in bouzouki, and then pipes and fiddle came in as a harmony supporting the chorus, and I suddenly started to approach the song with much more sadness. So instead of trying to express my contempt and anger that was already written in the song by trying to match every word with a harsh delivery, I went the other way and tried to just sing the song truthfully and not so maybe theatrically as that might have appeared, you know.
Less of a protest song.
Yeah, also there is something to consider. This is the reaction, action, reaction chain, is that people know that mannerism. They know it from Bob Dylan, they know it from Billy Bragg. They recognize it and immediately react, and they're in a frame of mind before they've heard a single thing you have to say. So sometimes you have to be a little bit more ingenious, you know. First thing to say about what are self-consciously defined as political songs is, if you say it's subversive, it isn't subversive, you know, and there's nothing subversive about the song. It straight out says what it has to say. But the way of saying it determines on how many people listen to the end.
Does it sadden you that you're reduced to making that kind of statement? Because you don't strike me as a particularly violent person.
It's just a question of what it draws out in you. I think everybody's capable of the most monstrous violence. She seems like a perfectly reasonable person. You know, in some manifestations, she certainly looks fairly benign. She's a middle-aged woman with a hair like candy floss, but she does some of the most monstrous things and shows not just two faces, but seems like any face that suits her at the time, and then tells you that it's a completely honest way to be. And I just can't find any words that portray my contempt strong enough. And I'm not some little kid that they can say, there now, you're just these young little teenagers who are having a moment of protest. I'm a man, I'm 35 years old, and I'm fucking sick of it, you know, of what's going on in this country.
I saw a newspaper picture from the political campaign. A woman was kissing a child who was obviously in pain. She spills with compassion as that young child's face in her hands she grips. Can you imagine all that greed and avarice coming down on that child's lips? Well, I hope I don't die too soon. I pray the Lord my soul to save. Yes, I'll be a good boy. I'm trying so hard to behave, because there's one thing I know: I'd like to live long enough to savor. It's when they finally put you in the ground, I'll stand on your grave and tramp the dirt down. When England was the whore of the world, Margaret was her madam, and the future looked as bright and as clear as the black tarmac Adam. Well, I hope that she sleeps well at night, isn't haunted by every tiny detail, 'cause when she held that lovely face in her hands, all she thought of was betrayal. And now the cynical ones say that it all ends the same in the long run. Try telling that to the desperate father who just squeezed the life from his only son. And how it's only voices in your head and dreams you've never dreamt. Try telling him the subtle difference between justice and contempt. Try telling me she isn't angry with this pitiful discontent, when they flaunt it in your face as you line up for punishment, and then expect you to say thank you. Straighten up, look proud and pleased, because you've only got the symptoms, you haven't got the whole disease. Just like a schoolboy whose head's like a tin can, filled up with dreams, then poured down the drain. Try telling that to the boys on both sides, are being blown to bits or beaten and maimed. Who takes all the glory, none of the shame. Well, I hope you live long now. I pray the Lord your soul to keep. I think I'll be going before we fold our arms and start to weep. I never thought for a moment that human life could be so cheap. But when they finally put you in the ground, they'll stand there laughing and tramp the dirt down.